Do not attempt to adjust your device screen. We are in control of the broadcast. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. The time has come. Please stand by for a live transmission from Halloween Daily News. Oh, yes, 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 yes. It is that time once again. It's Monday night in the airwaves over Haddonfield. We are live. Let's see who else is awake and out there tonight. Hello, Haddonfield, and happy Michael Myers Monday. Welcome to it. If you're new here and you're wondering what this sweltering midsummer slash fest you just found yourself in the middle of is all about, it's what we like to call Michael Myers Monday Live, our gathering, hangout, just general celebration of all things Michael Myers with the greatest fan community in all of existence. So if you're new here, welcome. I hope you'll hang out. And to everybody else, all of our returning friends, what's up, y'all? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Thank you for being here. Thank you for not forgetting our address and where we live here. I know it's been a minute or two or 6 weeks since our last live broadcast here on a Michael Myers Monday. Just been a lot going on behind the scenes here at HDN and just family stuff, house stuff, car stuff, all kinds of stuff going on. Some of it very exciting, some of it not so much, but in any case, I am super excited to be here tonight. Michael Myers Monday, the 13th of July, 2026. So happy Michael Myers Monday the 13th. How about that Crystal Lake teaser today, huh? We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. Some of it is not exactly breaking news. Some of it we've reported on before, and I will play a couple pre-recorded videos for some of that, and then we'll pick up with what we haven't talked about here in the live format and get your feedback and update on anything that's happened since. I'm talking about the animatronic. I'm talking about the video game. We're talking about the TV series. We're going to get into all that good stuff. And, you know, that's not all. A couple other news bites out of Haddonfield. Some more merch updates, because 'tis the season for 2026 merch reveals and drops, right? And maybe a interview clip or two along the way. And, of course, we'll do some shout outs before we get out of here at the end of the night. So before we do anything, though, I always like to welcome some of our friends, starting with some of our illustrious channel members, which gives me a good opportunity to plug channel membership. It's only $5 a month, and you get all kinds of killer perks, including early access to some of those interviews I was just talking about and other cool content. You get some exclusive videos and all kinds of exclusive stuff. So I see, well, our friend Barf not only lighting it up here in the live chat, one of our illustrious members, but already dropping a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Super chats are open. Again, these are just great ways to support what we do here on HDN. Our buddy Ben Brown is in the house. Thank you for being here as well, ma'am. I love that you cosplayed as Ash to go see the new Evil Dead movie. That sounds awesome. Blake has checked in as well, another channel member. Thank you for being here, sir. I'm glad to see so many familiar names and faces. Scrolling back up, I saw Megan checked in early. I see Teen Wolf is in the house. Sorry to hear what you're going through, but happy to hear that just being here and doing Michael Myers Monday Live is hopefully gonna bring you some good vibes and help you carry through and survive like Laurie Strode surviving another Halloween. David has checked in as well. Thank you for being here, sir. Lighten them up. I love to see it. Phil is in the house. Awesome. I think I saw Michael Myers even popped his masked head in here at some point already. I'm sure he'll be back. Thank you all for being here, for hanging out again. It is Michael Myers Monday, the 13th of July, 2026. Before we get into our news items this evening and the rest of our program, a couple things I got to plug each time we do these gatherings. I'm sorry if it's a broken record to you guys, but I got to remind you, for only the Triple M crew, you can get 15% off everything in our online store at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop, including little items, t-shirts, and stuff you see here when you're watching it on YouTube. Just use code MMM15, Triple M15, just for you guys. Ongoing, anytime through Halloween this year. Another thing I got to plug, I know I'm talking about it all the time here, but it's our Halloween International Film Festival. 2 days and nights filled to the brim with horror and Halloween themed independent films. We are taking submissions for one more month until August 13th. And then soon after that, we're going to be announcing our full lineup. We're going to be announcing a couple in our first wave here in the next few weeks. And we've got some very exciting ones to announce. It's going to be great. So if you're anywhere near the Outer Banks, North Carolina this October, come see us, come hang out with us, come connect with us, and other indie filmmakers at our 7th Halloween International Film Festival. It's happening October 23rd and 24th, again, here on the Outer Banks, North Carolina. You can learn all about it anytime at HalloweenDailyNews.com. Just hit the film festival link, or in any of our socials, we've got a link about the film festival as well. If you are a filmmaker or know filmmakers in your circle, spread the word. Let them know. Again, we're taking submissions, shorts and feature length, now until August 13th. That's the final deadline for submissions this year. Smith Grove is checked in. What's up, man? 110 days until Halloween. I love it with the countdown. Yes, happy Michael Myers Monday to you. Awesome, guys. What we are going to do, there's Michael again, checking in. Excellent. All right, guys. Before we get into the news items, I mean, this is a news item out of Haddonfield, but we just want to acknowledge our friend, the great Tyler Main, who, again, it's been a long time since we did one of these Triple M lives, but a few weeks ago, he announced publicly that he has begun chemo battling breast cancer, and he's been documenting it every single day, making posts on his social media accounts, and just documenting it along the way and inspiring people and showing us how he's gonna kick cancer's ass. And certainly, if anybody can, I think we can all agree Tyler is the one to do it. Hopefully, in very brutal fashion, destroy cancer, wipe it out. But again, sending positive vibes out to him in that journey, and as I said to our friend here, Teen Wolf, sending positive vibes to you and to any of you guys going through some tough stuff. Our family went through some tough stuff just recently, actually, in the last few weeks since our last gathering. So a lot of that in the air these days. But tonight we are going to concentrate on the most positive thing we can, which is celebrating our favorite fictional serial killer, the great Michael Myers, and this great franchise. Um, so, the first news bite actually comes out of Haddonfield because anytime John Carpenter's in the news, well, you know we're going to be talking about that here on Michael Myers Monday Live. He is the father of Michael Myers, after all. And I'm sure you saw, but we got new Carpenter music, another new single from the man's upcoming album of new original material. It is called Cathedral. And we'll jump over here to HDN. And not only is it an album of brand new original material by John Carpenter and, of course, his bandmates, Cody Carpenter and Daniel Davies, but it is the audio companion to the graphic novel Cathedral, which is Carpenter's first ever graphic novel, which he co-wrote. So the latest single is called The Ferryman, and it is awesome. I've been cranking it nonstop since it was released a few weeks ago. And, this album, Cathedral, it's designed very much, Carpenter has explained, to be a visual or an audio companion to the graphic novel, not just to listen to in addition to, but to literally be able to listen to as you're reading through it. It sounds amazing. They released a visualizer, which it features some panels from the graphic novel, and it looks awesome, including panels of the Ferryman, of course. But I love the track. This is, of course, the second track off of Cathedral, following the debut track, Lord of the Underground, from a few weeks ago. And if you will recall, this is the album that Carpenter has described as kind of his metal album. So, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but new John Carpenter music, as if that's not exciting enough, but new John Carpenter music that John Carpenter describes as metal, yeah, I love it. And the full album comes out in August, and it's coming out right at the same time as the graphic novel is going to be released. It's happening the same week. So have you guys been enjoying The Ferryman? I was going to try to find those dates for you. I thought I had them right here. I think it's the second week of August, if I remember right. Well, in any case, it's in August. I think it's like August 11th, the graphic novel drops, and then 2 or 3 days after that, the album drops in full. So who knows? We might get another single between now and then. Maybe tonight at midnight, um, we'll get a new Carpenter single. There's still time for another one. About a month until the album's released. So yeah, this week or next week, we very well could get a third single before it's out. What do you guys think of these two new tracks so far? And if you guys have the dates handy, let me know. um, Apologies for that. I thought I had them right here, and I'm not seeing them. But I think it's August 11th and 14th, maybe 12th and 14th. Solid has checked in. What's up, man? Ferryman was great. Yeah, I'm loving these last two songs. Again, I mean, I'm a metalhead anyway, and I love Carpenter's whole synth aesthetic and everything. Um, yeah, I love these tracks. I can't wait for this full album. And the graphic novel looks awesome. It's based on Carpenter's A Dream He Had a couple years ago. You can read all those details at HalloweenDailyNews.com anytime. And of course, as soon as the novel is up for pre-order, we'll do an update and we'll have those links here for sure. All right, tis the season here in mid-July for tons of Halloween product reveals and in many cases drops and releases. And officially licensed Michael Myers merch is, of course, no exception. So we're going to do just a little rundown now of just a couple new merch items that we've not discussed here before. And I want to get your thoughts on if you're going to be adding any of these to your collections. I know some of you definitely are. Um, Starting with, I love the fact that Summerween has truly become a real thing here in recent years. And of course, I'm here for it. It's just an extension of the everyday's Halloween lifestyle, although not the same thing. One day I'll explain the difference of the two. But this is great. They call it Summer Michael Myers plush. I call it Summerween Michael Myers plush because what's so cool is, as you can see, he is holding a ice cream cone that, of course, is a jack-o'-lantern on the ice cream cone. I mean, how awesome is that? And yeah, it's a plush. It's the cute Michael with the big eyes, kind of the Charlie Brown, cartoonish Michael, which I know some fans don't want to see Michael ever as cute, but come on. And again, this to me is definitely Summerween. And Summerween to me, what separates it, it's not just seeing Halloween items in the stores or online during the summer. No, that's just a reflection of every day is Halloween, literally Halloween daily. No, what makes something Summerween is specifically when it is something that is typically identified as being related to Halloween, but in a summer-like setting or with a summer-like prop, something to signify summer. So you see ghosts wearing the sunshades or on the pool floats, or you see the skeletons lounging at the beach, stuff like that. Here, it's Michael. It's totally Michael. Halloween Michael, but with that ice cream cone. Boom, that's all it takes. That is officially Summerween, straight out of Haddonfield. That is a U2's plush, and as you saw, this is a limited thing. They do these limited drops, so you got 5 more days to order him for $30 over at U2s.com, and I put a link down in the description of this video where you can find him. And speaking of U2s, this is another recently released U2's Michael Myers figure. This one priced a little more at $36. This is the Halloween 2 vinyl figure. Again, by U2's, and let's see, there you can see the packaging. Got the H2 from that H2 license, same H2 logo with the pumpkin in the middle that we're seeing on the Five Below H2 merch, and so much of the H2 merch. This part of that license clearly. This one is available right now, at least what we're looking at here, from HotTopic.com. And again, I've put the affiliate link to where you can order him up right now in the description of this video. Also available from Hot Topic right this second. Have you guys seen this guy? I only recently learned about this guy. They call him a Pix figure, I guess because he's pixelated out. I guess that's the idea. He's a pixelated version of Michael Myers. But there you can see it's got the white outer kind of slipcase box that opens up to that box, the black box. So that's your packaging there. That's him out of the box. And he is priced at around $20. Again, available right now from HotTopic.com, new for 2026, and linked in the description below. And how about this one? I've never played Fortnite, but Michael Myers did join the Fortnite video game prior to starring in his own upcoming video game, of course. And NECA, being the amazing company that they are, have released this Fortnite game version of Michael Myers, officially licensed from the original Halloween, apparently. And it's Michael, with the keyboard. Now, again, I've never played the game. I understand that's straight out of the game. I just love this image, especially him trying to play it with the knife in the other hand. That's kind of funny. But as always with NECA, the figure looks amazing. The mask looks great. You can see a couple more of the images of him. Now, I dig this too, the backpack here. It is the opening credits pumpkin. And again, this is straight out of the game, from what I understand. It's his backpack. The knife goes in it, so that's how he can carry his knife. And the way it attaches to the figure in real life is it's magnetic. So it just attaches to his back magnetically. Very cool. There he is, and there's all of his accessories. 2 knives, the pumpkin magnet backpack, 4 different hands, and that keyboard. Have you guys played as Michael in the Fortnite game? This one is estimated to arrive this fall in October, and priced at just over $31 there. And I've included this link to get him from Entertainment Earth. All right. So tons of new Myers merch, and still more coming. We haven't seen everything coming from Spirit Halloween yet, officially licensed for Michael Myers. I don't think we've seen everything yet, but of course what we have seen is pretty awesome, and you guys know what I'm talking about. That recently revealed officially licensed Halloween 78 6.5 foot tall life size Michael Myers animatronic made designed by Trick or Treat Studios, made by SVI, and available this year, right now online already, from our friends at Spirit Halloween, priced at $350. You know, we when we last talked about this animatronic, um, during our last live stream, we were talking about how it is reality that it is coming to Spirit Halloween. And then just a few days later, as if on cue, Spirit Halloween dropped this bad boy online, available from spirithalloween.com right now. He kind of sold out really quick the first day or two, and then they stocked him back up, and he has remained in stock since. I know some of you watching own him. Barf has shared some of his video of him in action, and we're actually going to take a look at that in just a little bit. But here he is in all of his glory. And here you can see him in action just a little bit. And again, when we get to shout outs, you can see Barf's video as well. But here he is. His head moves side to side. I do wish the head tilted side to side. I think that would be better. And I do appreciate the unique added movement of not just the arm going up and down, but the twisting of the knife. Although I assume the knife is probably connected to the hand. Again, Barf, you're watching, you can let us know for sure. Is it possible to remove the knife and place it, him holding it the other way? Because then I think the twisting would look even cooler. But I'm guessing it's probably connected to the hand. The mask looks really good, and of course it plays the title theme and Laurie's theme from the 78 movie, officially licensed. Not no generic versions this time, but the real deal music. But I do think it would be better if he did the head tilt. You know, I didn't invent this idea. Some of you guys may know the YouTuber Haunt Former. I'm a big fan of his and watch his stuff all the time. He actually pointed out at one point that why is it so hard for somebody not to do the most obvious Michael Myers animatronic that nobody's ever done? And that would be him just standing completely still, breathing, and just the head tilt. And if you raise the knife, maybe give him the jump scare raise of the knife, and the music stings. Does the music sting there? But even without the jump scare part, how effective would that be? Like having him actually sitting in your haunt down at the end of the hall, and you see nothing and you hear nothing but the breathing, and then you just see that head slowly tilting. That could be the most effective movement of any of these animatronics yet. But in any case, he looks great. Like I said, a lot of people that ordered him are getting them in stock now, and are are sharing their videos, have shared their videos, are tagging us in many of their videos, like Barf did, which I definitely appreciate. And yeah, now I just can't wait to see them in person in stores. And it's seeming like we're gonna have a Jason Voorhees animatronic in stores at Spirit this year too, which, I mean, that's pretty mind blowing and awesome to have. The two most iconic masked slashers of all time, both in life-size animatronic form at Spirit Halloween stores. Now, that Spirit Jason has not been officially confirmed yet, but all indications are, with the huge Jason Universe licenses, with the Crystal Lake show premiering October 15th, just in time for Halloween, and with the entire store theming at Spirit this year being harbor lake camp or something like that. It's basically a summer camp. So I mean, it definitely lends itself to Jason. But very excited that they were able to add Michael and bring this Trick or Treat Studios designed Michael Myers animatronic to Spirit. I think this is yeah, I he might be the best one yet. What do you guys think? Is he the best Michael Myers animatronic yet? Let me hear from you in the comments below and right here in the live chat. Tell me, um, and if not, which one released so far has been your favorite? Let's see. Ben wishes the head tilted as well. You can see the eyes in the mask. Interesting. Yeah, Ben's gonna have to get both Jason and Michael. I again, the Jason not confirmed, but there's been a lot of chatter, some leaked stuff out there that seems to be real. And again, it certainly makes sense with the theming and with everything else going on with Jason Universe and this new show. Which again, let me digress out of Haddonfield for just a minute. But what did you guys think of the Crystal Lake teaser that dropped today? Um, I think it looked great. I mean, I'm going to be watching. Um, I was stoked to get the official press release from NBC Peacock today. Um, so look forward to covering that, and was very kind of interested and surprised to learn in that press release that it's going to be 8 episodes. They're listed as 60-minute episodes, but they're all 8 dropping at the same time on October 15th. I thought they would probably stretch it out, and honestly, I'm stoked about this show. Everything about it is sounding great so far. But the one thing that's kind of just irked me about it, and it's got to do with the marketing and not the show itself, is why are they not premiering this thing on Friday the 13th of November? I mean, I know they want to get it out there in October because everybody's, that never watches horror is going to give horror a chance in October because it's Halloween season. And so they figure, they'll get casual fans aside from just us horror fans, which are going to watch it whenever it comes out. But I mean, I just feel like that's a missed opportunity. They released this on the 13th of July. They recognize the importance of the date, the 13th. Um, there is a Friday the 13th in November. Or what I thought they were going to do was release it and do one episode a week, and then it would end on Friday the 13th of November. That's what I thought they were going to do, but then the math doesn't really work out that way. But they could have, it's 8 episodes, so maybe they could have started on October 15th and dropped 2 episodes each week, and then give us the final 2 on Friday the 13th of November. Anyway, I don't know why they wouldn't do that, but other than that, every single thing about this show sounds awesome to me, looks awesome so far with today's teaser. I'm stoked to watch it. I'm stoked to cover it here on Halloween Daily News. And yeah, I mean, we're talking about Michael Myers merch and Michael Myers news here tonight, of course, but Jason is going to be a huge presence throughout Halloween 2026. A ton of licenses were recently signed by Jason Universe, so you're going to see all kinds of stuff. A lot of the Michael Myers type licenses that we see him licensed out for, you're going to see Jason versions of a lot of that this Halloween, and so we'll be here covering that as well. But especially that show, I'm very much looking forward to that. Give me your thoughts. All right. Now, there's been quite a few video game updates to surface since our last Triple M Live. Um, and a lot of them we've reported on the website and through social media posts. And I've done a couple pre-recorded videos in recent weeks to keep you informed on all the latest with the game. They announced the reimagined legacy characters of Linda and Bob and uh, Annie and Lori, and they announced the voice cast of who's playing each of them. And if you didn't see it, go to our Instagram and look at the our Instagram posts when that announcement came out. We tagged all of those voice actors, and a lot of them took the time to comment and just kind of express their excitement and the fact that it's an honor for them to be taking on these roles and getting to play in Haddonfield in this game. So all that's been very exciting. I think when we last did a live stream, we had just gotten the Haddonfield Heights map. Then we got the legacy characters, the cast reveals. We've seen a lot more locations. Now, most recently, game developers at Ilphonic revealed another new map for Halloween the game. And this one is the Orange Grove. This one is the Orange Grove Estates map. And here you will see some residences that that you will definitely recognize. Let's go over here and we'll actually run the map reveal as I'll kind of talk over it here. Again, we're not going to play that licensed Carpenter music, but you get the idea. And this is our first full look at the Haddonfield Heights map. Now, let's go back to the beginning. So here it is, Orange Grove Estates map. The full video reveal here. Nice playground, tons of places for Michael to hide and be stalking in the shadows. And then you do see some familiar homes. I love the jack-o'-lanterns out in front of this one right here. But these interiors, I've talked about it before, just how outstandingly era-specific and dead-on these interiors look. You know, the styling, the rugs, the wallpapers, the games. There's an Etch-a-Sketch on there. Like, if you weren't around in '78, you don't even know. What an Etch-a-Sketch is. And here's one of those recognizable houses from the original. Of course, the Wallace house. And then, oh, look, there's where the washer is. And then here, of course, the unmistakable Doyle house here. And giving us an idea of some of the sidewalks and back behind the bushes where Michael can creep around and creep in and creep out. There's the backyard. There's a drum set. You know, all of these scenes, seeing it empty like this, it does evoke the original film in certain ways. You know, just the slow, empty moodiness and suggesting, as we know, that the boogeyman is out there and could be anywhere. And with that, pre-orders for the game are now live. Not just the digital version, but the actual physical version. You can get the game on disc for both PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series, and you can get a standard edition or you can get a deluxe edition. And I think I know which one you guys are going for. The deluxe edition includes extra stuff, like it always does, including a Trick or Treat Studios 8-inch variant figure, the Shape Jump Michael variant figure. You get an exclusive poster, an exclusive lenticular art, and advanced access to 2 Michael Myers skins that I understand will be available in the game when you're playing it. It's not only available for collector's edition. It's just that the collector's edition, it comes with it already loaded. And we will we'll pull up an image of them here. Let's go over here and look at those skins. Here they are. This is they call it the Samhain skin and the clown skin. Now the clown skin, obviously, that's Michael wearing his childhood costume as an adult. And yeah, some people might be like, well, that makes no sense. That didn't happen in the movie. Well, I understand that it never happened in the movie, but I think it's pretty damn cool that that's a variant skin that you can put on and see what it would look like as adult Michael. And then look at this one, this Samhain Michael, all burnt up and like he's been to hell and back. You know what I mean? This is, you know, like Michael goes to hell, right? It's pretty wild looking. What do you think of that look? It's pretty wild. And the last thing, oh yeah, there's some extra civilian cosmetics that that you'll get advanced access to as well. And then there's listed as 2 more surprises to come with these question marks. And a lot of people have commented online and wondered about these question marks. What could this possibly mean? And so then we take a closer look and we start to zoom in and see what exactly is going on back here. Because I thought that the photo behind here was just the video game shot of Michael we've been seeing, or a video game shot of Michael, and just and really a placer image, you know, a place saver image, not the actual image. But a lot of people have kind of obsessed over this and said, wait a minute, what does that look like? What does that look like? And so, sure enough, when you go and brighten it up a little bit, and we pull it up here, you start to see that it is a bit different, isn't it? You start to see that that's not exactly the mask as we've been seeing it. That's got a lot of extra creases indented into that mask. In fact, it looks an awful lot like maybe the video game's version of Halloween 2018's mask. Now, of course, one of the big questions about this game since it was first announced was, would there be sequel content? Would there be Silver Shamrock masks? Would there be Halloween 2 Ben Tramer masks? Would there be 40 years later Halloween 2018 masks? And it's kind of been hinted at various comments from Ryan Freeman and from Ilphonic that stuff is on the table for down the road. They've promised, you know, the biggest complaint I've heard about this game ever since it was launched is that, oh my gosh, it's going to be just like Friday 13th, just like Texas Chainsaw. They're going to abandon it. They're going to abandon it. And but again, every chance the developers or Ryan Freeman, who is a producer with Malek Akkad of the films and also of this game, every chance any of them have spoken publicly about this, they've made a point to say that they have future plans for this game and will not be abandoning it. So, a lot of people I've seen online feel sure that this is meant to be the 2018 mask, the game's version of the 2018 mask. And maybe they don't even call it the 2018, maybe they call it the 40 years later mask or whatever. But could that be what these future surprises are? And if so, I mean, that certainly opens up a ton of interesting possibilities. That would seem to confirm that, yes, sequel content can be and will be incorporated into the game, at least from 2018. And I would venture that if they have 2018, then that would only logically mean that they have all three of the recent films: 2018 Kills and Ends, which means they could do video game versions of all of Michael's deteriorating mask throughout those films. Not only that, if they've got Ends, I mean, they could give us a Corey Cunningham Scarecrow skin. Um, Maybe Allison's cat mask as a skin. There's all kinds of different options they could go with just with those three films. And who knows? Now, again, this is not confirmation of this. Obviously, this has not been announced, and this still could just be like a placeholder image. But when I lightened it up like this and zoomed it in, I mean, it's definitely got those crease marks that the 2018 mask has and is really known for. I mean, it doesn't look like literally the 2018 mask, but a pretty good video game approximation. I think it very well could be, and yeah, that means sequel content is a yes, at least for 2018, which would suggest that that would also include the recent trilogy. Which, by the way, I heard Danny McBride call the recent trilogy the Hello Greens. I thought that was pretty funny. So, give me your thoughts on this theory that this is teasing a 2018 skin in the game. And what would you possibly hope to see if they can make 2018 and thus the Hello Green trilogy incorporate those films at the very least into this video game? What else might you want to see from there? I imagine you'd probably all want to see a Kills mask like I would. Maybe like I said, an Ends mask, maybe even a Corey Cunningham Scarecrow if we're doing the young Michael clown with the adult Michael. Very interesting choices here, but tell me what you think about this in the comments below and right now in the live chat here. Now, the physical versions of the game are actually coming out a few weeks after the digital version now. I don't know if you caught that in all the excitement of the new map reveal and the, oh, is it sequel content, the 2018 tease, possibly. But Halloween the game will be released digitally, as has been announced for a year now, on September 8th. But the physical version will not be available until October 6th. So 1 month longer to wait for the physical version. But most of you watching Triple M Live here, I think, are probably like me, old school, and like having the physical versions. And I imagine a lot of you are gonna not mind waiting if it means having the physical version. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here in the live chat. Barf cosplays as Barf from Spaceballs. That's awesome. Solid thinks it's just a placeholder photo. What do the rest of you guys think? That's definitely what I thought at first. It was a placeholder photo. And again, I didn't investigate further until I did see some other um, commenters on YouTube that were really zooming in and looking at. I was like, let me take another look at that. And then when I did, I mean, it's hard to deny that it does kind of look like that 2018 one. Daniel says it would be cool if we got it on Nintendo Switch or Sega, like console. Yep. Yeah, maybe they'll announce some other um, platforms that it's available on. I don't know. David's just wondering if Mickey's Bar is in the game. That's great from Kills. Good question. You know, it could be. Again, if they're incorporating those films in one Michael Myers skin, what's to say they couldn't at some point incorporate it? Other skins, other locations. I think that could be interesting. Ben says, hope it's like the F-13 game. Yeah, I think that's what most people want is like the F-13 game, but like unending, to infinity and beyond. I think, but again, every time they have a chance to comment publicly, they've been saying that. Now, as you may know, tomorrow, Tuesday, July 14th, there is going to be a live Q&A on Twitch with the guys from Ilphonic, the developers of this game. So you're definitely going to want to tune in to that if you're on Twitch. We will be here to update you if you can't catch it on all the any big news that comes out of that. I'm pretty sure one of the very first questions asked will be about this sequel content, and it'll be interesting how they choose to answer that. Blake says 100% it's 2018. I think it will get announced soon, maybe tomorrow with the Q&A that Ilphonic is having. Exactly. Yes. It very well could happen tomorrow. And again, then you'll see me back on here sooner than later, talking sooner than later more video game news. But all right, so give me your thoughts on all the latest video game updates and news, and how excited are you? How are you purchasing, or have you purchased? I think I saw Ben said he purchased the digital deluxe version. Um, how are you guys going to be purchasing it? What's your plan? Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I had myself on mute there for a minute. Apologies about that. All right, we have one more news item to discuss here this evening on Michael Myers Monday the 13th, July 2026. Um, as you guys know, we here at Halloween Daily News don't, as a general rule, report on rumors or hearsay. We try to report on facts and things that are confirmed, officially announced through official channels, or that things I myself, Halloween Daily News, has independently confirmed. But that being said, we're gonna address what has been a rumor, which again, what is even a rumor in 2026? That's a whole other thing that can be debated, but that's for another time. But I digress. In any case, that being said, we are going to address a rumor that I'm sure you guys have seen and heard. It's been posted online a lot in recent weeks, recent months, even. Um, Different websites have posted about it, different outlets, and a lot of that I've kind of ignored, or at the very most, I've kind of maybe taken with a grain of salt. And I would still say take this with a grain of salt. However, this is a little bit different than just your average YouTuber or um, you're just somebody with a website posting that, hey, I heard this, because I'm not saying that can't be. I'm not saying that people saying that are lying. I just, you know, I don't know if it's an outlet or an account that I'm not familiar with, and I don't know their history. I mean, maybe they're phenomenal scoopers. Maybe they're phenomenal in Halloween franchise insiders, but in doing Halloween daily news for the 14 and some years that we've been doing it, if I haven't heard of them and can't vouch for them, then I don't know. I'm not usually going to put a ton of stock into that. But this is not that. This is actually an article which is labeled, in fairness, rumor in the first sentence in the headline. But this is not an article from you know just anybody. This is an article written by Brad Miska, who is, of course, if you didn't know, he is the current owner and editor in chief of Dread Central, and before that, he founded Bloody Disgusting and ran that for many decades, and just fairly recently exited there and took over Dread Central. And this is something, that's been out for a couple weeks, honestly. And I didn't report on it at the time, partly because I wanted to try to independently verify it myself, which I have not been able to yet. And I have, reached out to people that I know, and so far nobody's willing to talk about this. But of course, what I am getting at, and I'm sure you got it by now. We're talking about the TV series, the Halloween TV series. Is it going to happen? Well, Brad Miska at Dread Central has commented on the reports online throughout social media that it's not still happening. And way down here in the article, Brad, who I find is a pretty reliable narrator here, who wouldn't put his name on something he didn't feel confident in, but here you can see it for yourself. It says, and he wrote this whole article in first person, but he says, quote, "I can confirm the reports currently circulating that as of this writing, there is no active Halloween television series moving forward," end quote. Now, again, it's very clear stated that it's as of this writing, and this was published back on June 24th. So it's been a few weeks. Things could have changed since then, and the very next sentence makes clear that it very well could still happen at some point. And in my personal opinion, I think it will still happen at some point. But what Brad goes on to say in this Dread Central report is that his source claims that Paramount is the likely new home for the franchise, meaning a movie, a theatrical release of a film, that Paramount would likely be the new home, considering that studio's strong relationship with Miramax. So this raises all kinds of questions for us to discuss here. This, again, it he puts rumor up at the top of his headline, but it does say that he has a source that is confirming that rumor. His source, not mine, I'm reading this just like you guys, claims Paramount, based on the fact that Paramount and Miramax have a good relationship. Now, to put this in a little bit better context, let's backtrack just a little bit, back to when they first announced the TV series. You will recall that there was a bit of a bidding war for a while. I think A24 was in the mix for a while, and Miramax ended up walking away with it. And it was kind of a compound deal where Miramax was going to be doing the TV series, and then Miramax would also be doing the next film. And that was because of Malik and Trancas and Compass International's relationship with Miramax over previous Halloween film releases, including the most recent trilogy, the Halloween trilogy, if you will. And so all that made sense at the time, and it was stated at the time that the head of Miramax at that time, Mark Helwig, would be working very closely, very tight, hand in hand with Malik Akkad himself on the development of this series. Now, this was way back in, I think maybe 2024. Not long after that, Mark Helwig exited Miramax, and a new chief came in. And since then, it's been radio silence on the Halloween TV series front, not just publicly, but again, whenever I've tried to do just a little digging on my own, I can't get anybody to say anything that they even know anything other than what we all know. And meanwhile, for the last year now, since around summer of 2025, since they announced this Halloween the game and gave it its release date, I mean, that has been the focus of this franchise, and we have seen that again reflected in certain comments, mainly by Ryan Freeman, producer of the films, and works hand in hand with Malik Akkad, of course, and talking about this game and talking about how they have worked hand in hand on it. It hadn't just been like hands off, let the game developers do it. They are involved, and that is something, I mean, Brad Miska says it in this article about the TV series, and I think you guys recognize it, and we all recognize it, that Malik Akkad and the powers that be care about this franchise, and they want to get it right. They want to give fans what they want. So, all this said, is it a rumor? Is it a report? Is it? Well, it's a fact that Brad Miska, the head of Dread Central, was the head of Play Disgusting for decades and has a great reputation as an honorable horror journalist, in my opinion. It's a fact that he's got a source that he's confident enough in to go out publicly and state that it is dead as the focus shifts back to movies. So again, none of this means it's definite. None of this means it's happening, and I don't think we'll get any confirmation. But part of why I didn't report on it or even want to discuss it informally here during the Michael Myers Monday Live with you guys until now was part of it was I wanted to see if there would be any blowback or any any debunking or any confirmation one way or the other. And again, it's been pretty silent from the Halloween franchise front on that particular article and the other recent posts. But sometimes that says more than a comment sometimes. So do I think this is the case? Given what other people are saying, that am not familiar with their work and don't know how to trust them, coupled with this from somebody that I do trust and do believe would not go to, publish something that they didn't feel was accurate. Like, I don't think he would do that just for clicks. I don't believe that. I do believe that a lot of these other people that I'm not familiar with might do it for clicks. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I have no idea. But in this case, I don't think it was for clicks. I think it's the real deal. So, as it's stating in there, it was as of that writing. The very next day after that writing, things could have changed. The last 3 weeks since it was published, things could have changed. Things could change tomorrow. But all of this to everything that I know and that a lot of you know and have watched, it makes a lot of sense. I think the concentration with Malik Akkad and Ryan Freeman and the powers that be behind this franchise right now are firmly with focused on the video game and getting this to the finish line and getting it out there, and having it be a success and everybody love it, and and rightfully so, because it's a huge deal. I think that's also coupled with, remember when this Miramax deal was announced, the Friday the 13th TV series was not yet a reality. That had been talked about and kicked around and had some false starts. Remember, there was that false start. They were going to have Kevin Williamson involved at one point, and Adrian King from the original film at one point. Well, now fast forward a few years, and we just got the first teaser for Crystal Lake out. That's reality. That's coming in a few months. That's in the can, and you have to consider the optics as well. And I'm sure the producers of this franchise are considering the optics in addition to everything else. We get this game out this year in September of 2026. Let's say immediately after that, in October of this year, they announce the TV series is on and it's coming in 1 year. That's doable. They can certainly write it, produce it, film it, edit it, hype it, and have it out by next Halloween, right? That's totally doable. But then the very next Halloween, it's 2028. It's the 50th anniversary. So what's going to be the state of Michael Myers for that 50th? Is it going to be season 2 of a streaming series? Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to see the streaming series. We've speculated on tons of scenarios that can make cool shows, and I still think it'll happen at some point. But I also think, again, the producers, Trancas, Compass International, are thinking long term. They're thinking, well, if we were to get a TV series going right now from scratch, rebuild the whole thing, and it's out by Halloween of 2027, well then it's either season 2 of that series for the 50th anniversary or what? Nothing. If the series is like a one and done series, which it could be. On the other hand, get the game out and recalibrate and figure out what the next theatrical experience for Michael Myers is going to be. And maybe that's what's happening during the 50th. I think all that is very plausible and makes sense just how this franchise has worked in the past. I mean, we did get a film for the 20th and another one for the 40th. It would kind of make sense for the 50th. On the other hand, I personally wish the franchise didn't have to necessarily be tied to the anniversary numbers and just, you know what I mean, because it's just literally tied to these anniversary years. And what about these other years that are these off years? So I wish it maybe didn't have to be tied to that. But then again, it's the 50th. It doesn't get much bigger than that. Now, so that's what I know, and that's what I don't know, and that's what I think. That's my take on this. You guys give me your thoughts on all of this. How legit do you think that article from Brad Miska is, and how right on do you think his source is? Do you think it's still that way 3 weeks later? Do you think things have changed or gonna change? What do you think of my take on it? That maybe it's a combination of the video game, really wanting to get that right, coupled with the fact that, hey, optics wise, this Jason show is coming out this Halloween. The earliest a Michael Myers show, a Halloween show, could be out would be next Halloween. And so, to the general audiences that don't live and breathe and eat and sleep this stuff like we do, you're going to hear a lot of, oh, they're just copying that Jason show now. And I don't think any of the producers want to hear that. Sorry, I thought we had a interruption in the stream there. Let me know if we do. But I don't think any of the producers really want to be hearing that, and we know it's not necessarily the accurate, because it's not like one is copying the other. They were both in development, but that is how it would appear to the people that don't live and breathe this stuff like we do. So now that opens up another question, and I'll pose this to you guys to wrap this bit of our discussion up. But what type of a movie would you want to see for the 50th anniversary? Let's just say the next Michael Myers movie, which let's just be real, it would probably come out in 28 at this point. I mean, sure, something could be announced tomorrow that could be out for next Halloween, and I'd love it if so, but realistically, it would probably be focused around the 50th at this point. Probably. Again, looking at history, judging from what decisions made in the past, what would you want to see? Another remake? Another requel? Just a complete reboot? Something along the lines of Halloween Returns, that film that never was, maybe one of the comic books that were released over the years, maybe an adaptation of one of those, or maybe something different. Maybe the ultimate documentary and have it released in theaters. Not many documentaries get released in theaters, though. I understand that. Or maybe something different. Maybe something about the making of Halloween, the creation of Michael Myers. What would you think about something like that? What if I told you that there might be somebody out there working on a project similar to that? Not saying that it is connected to the franchise, not saying that it is Halloween specific, and not saying that this would necessarily come to fruition, but there might be a place in the world for that. I've thought many times, what about a making of Halloween movie? Like, remember that movie Hitchcock, where it was not really about Alfred Hitchcock, it was more about the making of Psycho. They kind of should have called it something different maybe, but it was a really cool movie. Anthony Hopkins played Hitchcock. I think Scarlett Johansson played Janet Leigh in it. Something along those lines. Something different. Would you be open to that as a fandom? Would that be something that might interest you? Or where is the opening? I mean, do we really want to see Michael kill Judith again? Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, I know what I don't want. I vote that whatever it is, don't just call it Halloween. We've got Halloween 78, we've got Halloween 07, and we've got Halloween 18. Do we need Halloween 28? I mean, just give it a subtitle. Halloween legacy. Halloween defined. Halloween forever. Um, but give it its own identity is what I would vote for at this point. Um, Now, again, could the TV series still happen? Absolutely. And in fact, I would go so far as to say it will happen eventually. But it does make a lot of sense when we're looking at how long it's taken for it to get any traction, any movement, and then we hear reports. Again, a lot might just be smoke. That I don't think there's a lot to it. But then when somebody that does have a reputation of being trustworthy says that they can kind of back that up too, that definitely gets my attention. So, um, give me your thoughts on everything I've just said. Where do you want to see Michael Myers go next? Where do you want to see this franchise go next? Do you want a TV series? Do you want it sooner than a theatrical film? And if a film is where the franchise is going next, what type of film do you want to see? Where do you want to see the franchise go? How could they excite us again? I don't think it makes sense to do the requel again, because we just saw that. I don't, some people will say continue from ends. There's that option. They could continue from ends. Now Allison is pregnant with Corey's little evil baby. Again, I'm not saying they should do that. And I'm definitely not saying they will do that because I don't think they will. But I want to hear your thoughts. What would your picks be? What would you like to most see from this? Let me hear from you in the comments below on everything we've just discussed. And of course, right here in the live chat. Let's see here. Who is Cool Loomis is in here. Maybe revive the Cult of Thorn concept would be interesting. I mean, there's a ton of ideas and ways it could go and different things that could be done. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I would still love to see what could be done with a TV series. And we call it a TV series. It would be a streaming series, the same way Crystal Lake is going to be. But you get what I'm saying. A series. But then again, Michael does belong on the big screen. You know what I mean? And if there's gonna be a new project released for the 50th, there have been some great documentaries done. That doesn't mean that the ultimate one is done. And if it was, it needs to be redone because now we've got new films since it was done, right? Barf wouldn't mind a reboot if they stick to the theme of the original Michael stalking. I mean, to me, that's kind of the only thing they haven't done yet. Have been since Halloween Burns, Halloween Wrath. I like those ideas. Yeah, I mean, anything. Just give me a subtitle. I mean, I didn't mind Kills and Ends being the subtitles. That's fine. It kind of goes with Resurrection, actually. Just the one-word subtitles. That's fine. But yeah, give me some kind of subtitle. Barf says call it The Shape or The Shape, a Halloween story. Yeah, The Shape of Halloween. There you go. I mean, even that or Halloween, The Shape. Yeah, I could see any of that. It says, what if Michael escapes Smith's Grove in a different decade? Well, yeah, that would you could do that. Blake thinks it should just go back to the original and start completely over. Halloween Forever, Halloween Eternal, Halloween Massacre, all good ones, Ben. All good ones. Yeah, the powers that be might be listening and taking notes on some of these ideas. You never know, guys. All right. Before we do shout outs, and please keep this conversation going in the live chat, please. Um, I got to plug some recent interviews I did since our last live chat with some former residents of Haddonfield, um, including the very cool and very talented Angela Trimber. Now, this was from a junket interview I did for a new indie crime thriller called Crooks, and I highly recommend you guys check it out when it's out. It's going to be a while. It's on the festival circuit right now. It's from director Mickey Keating, and this is not a horror movie. It's more of like a Tarantino type crime thriller, but more noirish than Tarantino's stuff is, but still as violent. It's called Crooks. I really think you'll like it. And Angela Trimber steals the movie. She is amazing in it. The whole cast is great, but she is awesome in her role as Faye. And you know Angela Trimber as Michael Myers fans for playing the character Harley David in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. You remember she's the one that gets Laurie to go out to the Halloween party. They dress as characters from Rocky Horror, and she's dressed as Tim Curry's character. Remember, she's like, I'm a chick dressed as a dude, dressed as a chick. That's her. That's the quote, right? I think it is. You guys will correct me if not. In any case, yeah, she's gonna like win awards for this performance. It is really good. Everybody in the film is great, but I did this junket with director Mickey Keating and Angela's co-star in the film, Laura Walters. And you know, when we do these junkets, I have a limited amount of minutes. Sometimes it's 4 minutes or 5 minutes. Sometimes it's 10 or 15, but it's always like you have this many minutes. And I always, if you watch them, I always try to save a few minutes at the end to get just a little bit of Halloween talk in there, right? That's our thing. What's Halloween mean to you? What's your earliest Halloween memory? Um, and I never know how anybody's going to react to it, if they're just going to be like, what? I'm here to promote a movie and you're talking about trick-or-treating. Um, but with Angela, I kind of wanted to have a little fun with it, and I didn't know how she'd respond, if she'd be like too into this film project. And again, it's been like almost 15 years since that sequel, but in any case, she turned out to be super awesome and gave a really fun answer to my Michael Myers related questions. So check out this brief clip from my recent interview with Angela Trimber, and check out the full interview elsewhere in the interview section here at Halloween Daily News YouTube channel. Check it out. I gotta admit, I almost wore my Halloween 2 shirt today. I've been a fan of yours for a while, since your encounter with Michael Myers and followed your career. You know, Faye is she's a badass in this film. I think our audiences would want to ask, in an alternate universe, how would Faye deal with Michael Myers attacking her?
I think that I think that she would have her way of talking him out of it somehow, and get, just kind of get him right in where she needs him, and then she'd probably be like, let's take that mask off, like she'd find her way to seduce and kind of like confuse, and then take her chance
I would see that movie.
Yeah, there you go. There's the sequel.
Right there, there we go. There's the sequel. That's next, right?
Right, you heard it here first, folks.
So there you go. That could be the sequel right there. That could be the next plan. Blake says they should name it 78, talking about what the next film should be. They should name it 78, shoot it like the flashback scene in Kills, meaning capture all that 78 vibe, and with all new characters, just start completely over. Barf has a good idea. Call it The Shape, a Halloween Tale, and tell it from Myers' point of view. Now, that would be interesting. Have it open just like the original opens, with through Myers' POV, only this time never leave his POV for the whole film. I like that idea. Kind of like in A Violent Nature, the entire film follows Michael as on a Halloween night. I would really like to see something like that. I think that would be an interesting way to go. I thought with the Scream films, I think that's the only place to go with them, is give us a Scream movie where after the very first kill, Ghostface takes off his mask and we follow that killer through the whole movie. And I think that is the only place left to go for the Scream films now that they haven't gone in. I think that would be a lot of fun. They should have done it with Part 6, honestly, because they started that way, and I thought they were going to go the whole way that way. But sticking with Michael's POV for an entire film, I think could really be a great idea. And they've kind of done some of that a little bit with the novelizations of the recent films, too. They've gotten into Michael's head a little bit. Not the way Rob Zombie gets into Michael's head, of course, but Ben Brown, I love these names you're coming up with. Halloween, that's one of my favorite bands, actually. And, Khan says, Halloween, have a knife night. That's a good one. I love it. Yeah, Halloween, Evil Never Dies. Yeah, you could always do that. Brett just jumped on. What's up, man? Welcome. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Did I see the H2 Hallmark keepsake ornament that just came out? I did see it, and I just didn't have a time to queue it up for tonight. We'll talk about that on the next one. But yeah, that's yet another new 2026 Myers merch drop from Hallmark. Teen Wolf still hoping for Night Dance being adapted. The comics and 90s books are waiting to be adapted further. Yes, adapt those comics. I think that adapting the comics is definitely, like, I'd say one of my top 5 best possibilities for moving forward. Do that. I would like to see. I'm liking this idea of a Michael POV. I hadn't really thought about that, but I like that. I like a nonfiction take of maybe the story of Carpenter and Hill creating all of this and the behind the scenes stuff. And it's like a Rocky story, but it's set in Pasadena, in Hollywood, in the 70s, and how everything came together. And if you've watched that Hitchcock movie I've talked about, there's some really cool stuff with, like, how Hitchcock kind of has visions of talking to Ed Gein and stuff as he's coming up with Norman Bates. I would want to see something like that, like Carpenter, having visions of Michael Myers and stuff like that, and the stuff we know inspired that. That could be really done. So those are 3 possibilities I think could definitely work. And the 4th, for now, I'll say that I wouldn't be opposed to, is the Halloween Returns idea. It was last year. I came on and gave the recap of the live script reading, because I never read the script. But that was the first time that they did that RE Scope charity live script reading of the Halloween Returns. I watched the entire thing, and I just kind of closed my eyes for a lot of it and kind of visualized what they were saying and what that movie. And that movie could still be done now. You're totally right. That was a plan at one point. It got canceled. But I don't know why that script wouldn't work today. Again, I'm not saying that's definitely the way they should go. I'm not even saying that's my first choice of where they should go. But that is something I would not be opposed if they announced they're going back to that general script idea. Because I thought it was a very well done script. Lots of fun Easter eggs, including Halloween 3 stuff that I think would have been totally fun. So those are probably my top 4 ideas as of right now. But you guys are still pitching, so you might pitch one that makes number 5. But those are my for a film, for a feature film in theaters. And I'm going to go ahead and say for the 50th, because again, it could happen for next year. But the way things work with this franchise and just everybody wanting to get it right, let's just say the next project for the 50th, because there's going to be something. We know there's going to be something, even if there's a not in theaters, but a documentary that celebrates the 50th and interviews everybody for it. Even if it's that, I'm sure we'll get that, and of course some 50th anniversary release of the original film. With some new artwork, maybe a new box set. I mean, the ultimate box set ever done for this franchise was that 15 disc mammoth collection released, I think, around 2015. But that was pre the Hallow Green films. So it's time for another one now, right? All right, but I digress. David, thank you for the compliment on that interview with Angela and her Crooks team. Teen Wolf says, honestly, the mask looks more like a filled out H6 mask. You mean the mask in the video game? You're talking about, I think? Ben's got a ton of... Oh, Solid said Halloween Asylum. I mean, you could still do my Loomis pitch and do it as a film, and I think it would work better as a series, actually, in that case, because you could have every episode, you could have a different case that Loomis is working on at Smith's Grove, and Michael is just one of those many cases, but every one could be really weird and wacko, and that's why I think it would work so great as a series. Michael would be the overarching narrative that, is maybe mentioned in every episode. But, Ben says Halloween Legends. I like that. Could the people sitting at the bar telling their stories of encounters with Michael, only for that at the end Michael will appear? That would be interesting, kind of like a variation of the sitting around the campfire telling ghost stories or telling Jason stories. Yeah, at Mickey's bar, Mick's bar. You could do that. You could have everybody kind of telling their different stories, and we would see those stories in flashback. That would be a good way to do an anthology, actually, Ben. That would be a really cool way for them to do just 3 or 4 not connected Michael attacks, Michael stories, and hit other Halloweens. Not the Halloweens we know that happened in 78 and in 88 and in 89 and but the years that have never been touched, and let each of those encounters be on Halloween during a different decade, during a different year. That might be my 5th favorite idea I've heard or come up with so far. That's a pretty good one, man. And then it would just open so many cool possibilities. Oh, you could even, this would be cool, do the Tales of Halloween thing and have a different director for each of those segments. Have one director doing the bar wraparound, a different director for each of the, say, 4 flashback scenes. And if each of the 4 flashback scenes, you could even have each one take place in a different decade. One in the 80s, one in the 90s, one in the early 2000s, and maybe even one like right before 2018, or maybe even one going back pre-78. How about that? And save that one for last. The last one be pre-78. Something that Michael did while in Smith's Grove. And that whole one could be set during Smith's Grove. I like that idea a lot. You guys tell me what you think about this. Yeah, this is fun, but that's a good idea, Ben. I'm gonna, for now, until somebody else knocks one of these 5, those will be my top 5 picks for what the next film should be that I've heard so far. Yeah, do it anthology style, where Haddonfield residents are telling about different encounters they had with Michael. Do it Halloween Returns style, where it's basically just a random night, all new victims, but lots of homage and Easter eggs for us fans of the classics. A nonfiction version of the making of the original film. A full Michael POV for the whole film. And what was the fifth one now? Now I'm forgetting what the fifth one was, but in any case, you guys keep the conversation going. Before I do shout outs, I got one more clip I'm going to play you guys. And I'll still be hanging out here in the live chat, but I recently had an amazing conversation with Christina Klebe, of course, one of the stars of Rob Zombie's Halloween 07. I hope you checked it out already. If you haven't, check it out. Christina was awesome. We talked all about Halloween and making Halloween and a little bit of Tales of Halloween, and all the way up to her most recent film, which is her feature directorial debut. It's called Nocturne, and she co-stars with her real-life partner, and he joins us as well in the interview. And the film is super personal to her. It's based on her real-life spinal injury and recovery, and it's got horror elements and dramatic elements, and her acting has probably never been better. I mean, and she's always great. She was great as Linda, but her acting in Nocturne is next level. Again, award worthy. So I had a blast talking to her. Obviously, she's somebody that's been on my wish list for an interview for many years, and now I to have been able to share this time with her, and yeah, now I've interviewed so many of the awesome residents of Haddonfield circa 07, from Tyler Main and Daig, of course, playing Michael, to Scout and Danielle, of course, and many others. But Christina was a big one to finally add to that list, and she did not disappoint. She was awesome. She had tons of awesome stuff to say. So I hope you've already checked it out. In which case, this is you've already heard this clip I'm about to play. But I just like listening to it again because it's so fascinating to me. I'm always fascinated with all of these people that become immortalized as part of this franchise we love so much, what their relationship was to the franchise, to Michael Myers, prior to becoming a part of it. And we all know once they're a part of it for life. And sometimes they're fans and it's a lifelong thing come true, like Doug Tate. And other times it's more like Christina's experience, where not only was she very unfamiliar with Michael Myers in Halloween films, but with horror in general. So I'm going to play this clip. This was a tiny bit longer than the last one, but I'll still be here stalking the live chat, and then we'll come back for just a couple minutes and do a couple shout outs before we get out of here on this Michael Myers Monday. So check out this clip of my exclusive interview with Christina Klebe, talking Halloween 07. Got the appropriate Michael mask out, for the occasion.
I did notice that. I was looking, I was like, wait, that's the only Michael mask, and it is our Michael mask.
What was your relationship with Michael Myers going into this?
Yeah. No, I think actually I did not have any background or know much about the Halloween franchise at all. And I certainly did not understand or know anything about the fan base. I think I've said this before. I grew up with a theater, and I grew up with going to live shows and live music. And we had one television in our house, and it was in my parents' room. So, I was certainly not allowed to watch scary movies. And I think the only scary movie that I watched was Nightmare on Elm Street, when I slept over. I had a sleepover at a friend's place, and her parents were not as strict, and we were staying up at night. And that movie terrified me. It was the scariest thing, because I am such a vivid dreamer, and I have such realistic dreams that I think even at that age, I was like, ah, this could be real. You know, is this guy going to infiltrate my dreams and, you know, kill me in my dreams? And here I am, you know, 30 years later, and I understand my intuitive qualities now. And I'm like, well, in a way, yes, things can infiltrate your dreams. So you've got to, you know, cleanse your energy.
That's very true. Absolutely. So you had no idea going into it. Do you remember like when they were making it? Was there chatter, buzz on the set of like, like this is going to be a huge movie because it did break records. People forget when that movie came out. I mean, there was so much hype. I mean, we didn't have Halloween Daily News yet. Social media was barely just getting going, I think, if at all. But
We had MySpace though.
yes, there was. Right. That was what we had at that time. You're right. The earliest social media. But I remember going to the theater as a fan and just being so excited and loving it, and it just being a great time just as a fan. But being there on the set at the time, again, you didn't know what you were getting into. Did anybody there seem to like really have an idea that, this is really going to be a big deal for horror fans?
Yeah. So you know what? I kind of, when I first got the part, I had no idea what it was, and I did not understand how special it was that I booked this job. And there was nudity in it, and at this point in my career it was like very early, and I was nervous to do that because I was scared that it was going to kind of like taint my career or something, that it was like not a good look for a young woman trying to break into the business. Also, I came from a theater background. And even though, yeah, of course I did some like TV and stuff, I think my first movie was a Spike Lee film. Like I was like, oh, I'm like a New York in like elevated indie actor. I'm going to do like elevated indie films and work with Spike Lee. And then I'm like, a horror movie. I've never even I watched one horror movie. I was like, and that terrified me. And I think I was a little, I'd say not, I was a little worried that I wouldn't be able to do those movies anymore. And I have to say, it has been hard to transition back because the industry loves to pigeonhole you. It loves to say that is the kind of movie, that is the kind of actor you are. And I've never wanted to do just one thing. I've always wanted to do like all the different art forms and genres, and direct and act and write and, and act in all sorts of different projects. And so I was worried about that. And it did do that. But at the same time, a friend of mine called me, or I called him, and I was like, I need you to talk to me about this. And he was, at the time, he knew more about the industry. I knew nothing about the industry. I was a complete naive, again, like I said, from New York, theater person. And he was like, what? Halloween? The new remake of Halloween? He's like, you can't even be serious that you're asking me if you should do this or not. He was like, do you know how many people would die for that role? And I was like, okay. Like, I'm sorry, I'm an asshole. Like, but I was also young and I just didn't know. And I didn't know what the franchise was. And it took me doing like up until through shooting to kind of catch up with all the movies and all the like the lore and the fans, and understand how much it meant. And so yeah, I that was my kind of background coming into it.
So you say you did kind of go back and watch the original and some of the other movies as filming was going on, it sounds like. Kind of getting your...
Yeah, I started to watch the one that we were based on, right? The original, obviously. And I started watching it, and I remember I had actually it was an old TV, and I think it was even, was it like, no, it must have been a DVD, or was it a VHS? I'm like, wait, what would it have been? No, it was a DVD. But an old TV. And I remember just looking at the movie, and I was like, this is like, it's not, I don't want to watch this because I don't want to be influenced by it. It seemed so different to me.
Right.
Obviously, it was so much older, and it was such a I think it had such a different vibe, the way that Rob wrote the 2007 version. So I didn't want to be copying anybody or feel like I would be even subconsciously affected by it. So then, of course, after we shot, I watched it, and then I watched. I still have to say I've not watched all of them, but I think I watched like 2 and 3 or 4. 3. I watched one of the ones with Danielle in it.
Yeah, probably part 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah.
She's very cute.
And did you, speaking of which, I mean, working so closely with Danielle and Scout in so many of those scenes, did you guys get along right away? Did you guys hang out when the cameras weren't rolling as well?
Not during filming. I don't remember. I don't think we did. I remember like one time I think we were going to the somewhere, and I picked Danielle up along the way or something. We went somewhere together, but we didn't hang out very much right away. I think we started to hang out more like when we started to do conventions. But like, I feel like Scout was really young at the time. Still, I mean, we weren't like partying together, I think she turned 18 on set. And Danielle had like her own life too. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that we hung out so much, but on set, yeah, no, we had a lot of fun, and yeah.
Do you remember the day on set with the first time you saw Tyler Mane in the full Michael Myers mask and the jumpsuit and everything?
Gosh. I just remember his hands were so gnarly. Like I was like, wow, like his hands, look at those, like they were all like they were so but I think, do I remember like the first moment? Not really, but it was definitely creepy, and the whole thing. I think I was nervous because, of the nudity and the sex scene. So it was like kind of like a lot of it is a little bit like in my, like I kind of like blacked out a little bit. I'm not saying that I did, but I don't remember it so clearly because I think I was just worried about being naked or something.
Well, I can understand that that might be a little preoccupying a little bit. I can understand. And
around a bunch of people I didn't know.
Room full of strangers, and then getting strangled on top of that after having sex. It's I was going to ask you about shooting that scene because it does pay homage to the original, but in the original he's choking her with a phone cord, and you mentioned Tyler's hands, and he gets a little more personal in your scene and actually is choking you out with his hands. Do you remember anything else from shooting that?
I mean, I remember that it was definitely in my control. I will say that. Like, I had my hands. That's like a trick you do, right? You put your hands underneath somebody's hands. So his hands are like here, and I've got mine like this, and I'm really the one controlling it, which obviously the stunt guy worked with us and Tyler was so great about that because he'd done a lot of stunt stuff, and like obviously the wrestling but it was me doing doing this, and pretty much I was in control. I mean, that wasn't the part that I felt, if anything, I felt more embarrassed for Tyler. Like, I felt bad that he had to do that. Like, and that and then I think his wife, I don't know if they were already married, but Renee was also on set. And I was like, oh gosh, this is just so awkward. Like, I feel so weird, more about that. But he was so gentle actually, and kind, and obviously, and yeah, I mean, fight scenes that's why we have stunt coordinators.
What was your favorite memory from that set?
I'd say my favorite memory was getting to work with Brad Dourif.
Oh yeah.
Just because like he was one of the actors that I did grow up watching, like I mean, or that I'd least seen in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And I just remember my parents loved that movie. And so I watched that movie with them and we all loved, that movie. And so it was just so cool that I got to work with him. Um, and I'm trying to think like, yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes where I got to come up to him and be like, oh no, 5-0. Oh no, what do I say? Like, yeah, oh no, 5-0. And then I called him a pig or something, like a real jerk.
Yeah, and then you're wondering if he's flirting with you, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. That was hilarious. I'm like, yeah, no. Get over yourself, Linda.
Yeah, he's definitely a legend. Um, have you met PJ Souls? I imagine you have over the years.
Yeah, no, I love PJ. I love PJ. She's so nice. And actually, the weirdest thing, which I love to tell people, is that our handwriting is weirdly similar. So whenever I see a poster that's signed by her, I'm like, wait, did I sign this already? And that's how I realized that our handwriting was so similar because I was like, wait a second, she writes totally exactly the way I do. It's a little weird. I'm like,
That that is weird. Yeah. Wow. That's very cool though.
yeah.
Have you guys talked about the fact, just the fact that you share? You're the only two people. You share this character in forever in this almost 50-year-old franchise now. Have you guys ever just taken a minute and marveled at the fact that, can you believe this?
We have, yeah, I think we have talked about it. And it's kind of like, she's so down to earth and just like cool. And I think like she doesn't let it, she's never really like she's just cool. I don't know, like she doesn't seem like it's changed her life like in a bad, like let it get to her head or something. Or like, same with me. Like, I don't know, it would be weird to think like I'm so special because, but of course it's special to be a part of the franchise. And I think that's the really, like that's the cool part. But it really, I think it was luck as well for casting for me, for I don't probably for her, for every actor, it's always about luck. Like you're lucky, you were good, you were there at the right time, you looked like what they wanted, and you were lucky. I could just say I'm lucky to play the second Linda.
All right, we are back. We are still live. For a few more minutes anyway. It is Michael Myers Monday, the 13th of July. Barf, thank you for that additional super chat and for the 5 gifted members. I did scroll back up in the live chat and eventually was able to see them. And I'm sorry that I missed them when they first came in, but yeah, we'll give them a proper welcome and tag them all tomorrow in the community tab here. As far as your question about can you pick who the membership gifts go to, I am learning how that works myself. I don't know. I don't know what option it shows up there. Maybe if any of you guys have gifted memberships, you can help out and let Barf know if you are able to pick your one. I just figured the people you were gifting were people, friends of yours you had chosen. All right, real quickly before we get out of here, check out my full interview with Christina Kleeb, by the way, if you haven't already. It was a blast and an honor. And yeah, we talk about just all kinds of cool stuff. That was just a little taste of it. But and then again, when she brings in her partner Byron, and we talk about the new movie, and it, incredibly candid and just funny, and you get to see a little bit of them interacting, just kind of how they do at home, and I thought that was awesome. All right, so on to tonight's shout outs. And we're going to start with our man Barf right here. Tagged us in some shots. This is Barf's Michael Myers animatronic. I like that black lighting. He looks great, man. I mean, yeah, he looks really good. Very nice. And then I think we got, yep, a little bit more. And there, there he is in the regular lighting. Great mask sculpt. As always, thank you, Barf, for sharing and for tagging, and for your super chats tonight as well, of course. Oh yeah, there's your other animatronics. Awesome. Love it. So good. Yeah, your hairstyling looks on point. That's so cool. All right. Thank you, Barf. Let's jump over. We're still here on Instagram. Another shout out this evening. This one from The Creepy and the Kooky. And a lot of y'all have seen Obsession. She's having some fun with her her wishing Willow. She says, "I wish Michael Myers chased after me instead of Laurie Strode." Thought that was pretty cool. I'm actually going to be watching Obsession when I get out of here tonight for the first time, finally. Universal was cool enough to send me the 4K today, so I'm going to check that out when I get out of here. Another one from Instagram today. From Pixie Ghoul and Beans of Horror, my two personalities. This is just too wild. Michael Myers doing his May Queen, of course, from Midsommar, a little Halloween, Midsommar, October, May marriage here. Can't say I've ever seen anything quite like that. And then Jason getting into the act too. Or Roy, right? Another one from Instagram today. Silent Horror 84. They say, not a popular opinion, but we liked Halloween Ends. Hey, we like Halloween Ends too. Nice father-son with their I liked Halloween Ends shirts. I like that. Of course, the Halloween Ends mask. And one more for this week. We'll jump over to TikTok. Kimberly Titus 12. I thought this was kind of cool. She does a pretty good job recreating the opening credits there a little bit. And then here comes Michael. And I'm not playing the audio, but it's your favorite theme. And there's messages from Michael Myers speaking. and that's Kimberly as Laurie Strode. It's pretty cool. All right, well, you guys know what's up. Make sure you tag us on your socials when you use Michael Myers Monday. You know, I used to be able to just search for the hashtags on things like the Instagram app, and I could easily put it in chronological order, and it'd be real easy to find all y'all's posts. But now, you know, they got to go changing things and making it hard to even find the hashtags, much less the ones in chronological order and all that, and all the apps are different. So the best way to get our attention and get featured here on Triple M Live, make sure you tag me. Tag the Halloween Daily News accounts. We're on all the socials, not just the ones we featured here, but all of them. You name it, we're there, and it's usually at Halloween Daily News for most of them. I think on X we're at Halloween Daily, and on good old Facebook we're technically Halloween News, but you'll find us as Halloween Daily News. David and Barf loved Halloween Ends. Me too. Yeah, I had a blast with it. I mean, I like when they do something different. I'm all for it. Yeah, I enjoy that movie a lot. All right, guys. Well, I've been on here a bit longer than planned. Like I said, I'm excited to go check out Obsession. Universal sent me an advanced copy of the Blu-ray Collector's Edition. That is, the film's coming out on physical media tomorrow, Tuesday, July 14th. But I think I'm gonna watch it tonight, the night early, because I have not seen it yet, and I've been wanting to see it, and everybody's been raving and telling me how great it is, and so I'm gonna be checking that out tonight. But I cannot thank you guys enough for hanging out with me for another Michael Myers Monday Live. I know it's been a few minutes since our last one. Hopefully it won't be as far in between till the next one. And again, keep watching, because tomorrow there is that live stream over on Twitch of the Halloween Q&A, Halloween the Game Q&A, and I expect some more cool updates coming out of that, which we will be discussing in an upcoming video. And tons of stuff coming this week, some big animatronics news. You're going to want to be here Wednesday morning. That's when I'm going to have a full report on the Home Depot's 2026 Halloween lineup. I'm under embargo right now. I can't say anything about it, but the embargo lifts Wednesday morning, bright and early. That'll be July 15th. So make sure you're here for that, and you'll see all of the new 2026 animatronics and props coming from the Home Depot, as well as details like pricing and when they're going to be available online. Hint, it's very, very, very soon. And also, we just got word that also on Wednesday, the 15th, HalloweenCostumes.com is apparently dropping their entire 2026 lineup, and they're promising one of the biggest Halloween drops of all time. So that should be interesting as well. Lots of cool news on the animatronics front. Again, check out my interviews with Angela and Christina if you haven't already. They're elsewhere here on the channel. I know you guys are all subscribed with notifications on. Think about becoming a channel member. It's a lot of fun. It's just $5 a month and goes a long way in supporting us. And I do appreciate you guys. As always, the best fan community, online community, anywhere, online or otherwise for that matter. You guys rock. Barf wants an Obsession review. Maybe I will. I probably will. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. This has been awesome. And Lots more coming. It's our season now. It's like officially our season now, right? We're into July, so even the people that don't celebrate Halloween every day can't deny it's our season now. Happy Halloween, guys. Happy Michael Myers Monday. I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. You guys rock. You guys rule. And happy Michael Myers Monday. Good night, Haddonfield.